What's up, guys? This is Jaden, and in this video, we're going to be discussing something is going to be a buddy fight discussion topic, something that I think that needs to be addressed, and something that me and my teammates talked about at Springfest this past weekend. So anyway, what we're going to be talking about is the current life, the starting life for buddy fights. Currently, in a game of Buddy Fight, unless you are playing a special flag like Thunder Empire, the Chaos, Dragonine, Dragon's Y, Guardians, Executioners, and I think that's all of them. You start with 10 life. Now, if you start with Thunder Empire, you start with 11 life. Chaos, you start with 10. Dragonine, you start with 12. Dragon's Y, you start with 20. Guardians, you start with 12. And Executioners, you start with 8. I think I have all that correct. But if you're not using a special flag, you start with 10 life. I think Bushiroad needs to consider a increase in life across the board, and here's why. Every deck in the format right now, like if I think if you wanted to say, okay, what are the top 5 decks in Buddy Fight right now? You have Dimensional Dragons, you have Astro Dragons, you have Electro Deity, you have Deity Garga variants, and then you have probably anything that just has Lost World splashed into it. Now, the reason the life count needs to be raised, I think, to 20 starting life is because all 5 of those decks I just named, plus multiple other decks that aren't even in consideration for the top decks of the format, but that can still push out a lot of damage, they can push out 10 damage like that. And the game generally only lasts about 3 rounds. In Buddy Fight, if you and your opponent both get 3 turns, that's pretty standard because the game won't last that long. And I honestly miss Buddy Fight not being a quick game. And that's just simply because with the times and cards and combos and the damage outputs, and this needs to change. Well, what about these special flags, you might be saying? Okay, well, if the standard life went from 10 to 20, if you weren't playing a special flag, that's pretty simple. You just basically add 10 base life to all those flags. So if you're playing Thunder Empire, instead of 11 life, you'd start with 21 life. Chaos, you'd start with 20 life. Dragonine, you'd start with 22. Dragon's Y, you'd start with 30. Guardians, you would start with 22. And Executioners, you would start with 18. It's really not that much of a change. And I think while those first 2 turns might be a little slower, I think it would be healthier for the game as opposed to now where generally if you're going first, you're going to be swinging from, on average, 3 to 4 damage. Now, there's maybe some decks that can't hit the 10 damage mark on their first turn. But if they can hit you for just 2 to 3, almost any deck can push out 7 damage in one turn. It's not hard. And the idea that if you just brick in Buddy Fight and you can't draw out of it and there's no way to fix your hand or just hope you draw, and the fact that if you just brick you lose, because I saw so much of that at Springfest and it got me thinking. I was playing against Astro Dragons. Astro Dragons for Deity Garga is a very hard matchup because of how much search power and draw power that Astro Dragons have. But when he bricked, there was no way he could play out of it. And I think taking the current life of Buddy Fight, increasing it, would actually make the game better because it would actually it would offer up more of a challenge because it wouldn't be this format where you're basically like, okay, my deck can push out 10 damage like easy. Take my deck, for example, the top 8 deck profile I profiled for you. Garga swings for 3. He can evolve into another form, and all of his forms carry, I think all of them carry 3, and only a few of them carry 2. So that right there is closing in on 10. So 3, if you go into Quasar, that's 9 more damage. So there's 12 damage right there. If I go first and I summon DD Garga and I swing for 3 and I put my opponent to 7, I know if my opponent cannot do something majorly to change the board state, I have him next turn as long as he doesn't have anything that can block multiple attacks. Because I will be able to swing with Garga, draw an additional card, evolve, and then I have access to either de-evolve back or evolve again and then keep evolving if I have resources and cards to allow me to do it. And I think by increasing the life, it would take away all of these OTKs and all of these FTK decks that just seem to not make the game as, I guess, as good as it can be. Because when Buddyfight originally started, 10 life was okay because we were swinging at each other with 1 to 2 crits at most, and everybody was playing all these cards that gave you life or nullified damage, so the game could go like that. But now we're in a format where there's so much destruction, there's so much bounce, there's so much cannot have your life changed, or all these cards that reduce critical and reduce power, that that's really not an option for the game anymore. So I think taking that life and raising it to the next tier level for all those extra flags and the standard flags is better and would be healthier for the game, simply because of how the game has developed and the direction the game is going. I mean, for Christ's sake, look at Gargantua Knight. This is a monster that has just been released, and he's actually a very, very good deck. It's what my teammate Will played at Buddyfight Springfest Team League this year. He is a monster with the G-Boost ability, and the G-Boost ability gives +2 critical to every monster on the field that's a DDT, and gives them all 1 million attack. That's not, you heard me right. Yes, he gives every DDT on the field, Dragon Deity Tribe attribute cards, including items, 1 million attack +2 critical. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I'm going to look this up real quickly. I think he also gives them penetrate. So, 1 second. Gargantua Knight Dragon. Yes, at the start of your attack phase. Stop it. At the start of your attack phase for this turn, all cards on your field get +1 million power. Then if another Deity Dragon Tribe is on your field for this turn, all Deity Dragon Tribe on your field get +2 critical and penetrate. So this, to push out 10 damage, would be cake if everything's gaining 2 critical and almost every card in the deck has double attack. So if you have your item, you have Garga, and you have, say, Garcat, I mean, come on. Astro Dragons. This deck can push out 10 damage like no one's business because they can have a full field plus an item. They all have double attack. They all swing for over 10,000 power, and they have somewhere between 3 and 4 criticals, and they all have double attack. So, come on, you do the math there. Max Dragons. Max Dragons, once they get to their full form, they can swing 4 times with 5 crits. That's 20 damage. Thunder Empire even. They can push that much out, and they're getting more support, and Thunder Empire is going to be a deck to not mess with. There's just a lot of things out there that, even with all the major power cards that are coming out to help balance out the rest of the format, that can still push out 10 damage, and there's really nothing that, you might just simply lose because your life is so low, because that's how it is. So I think Bushiroad needs to consider a increase in life, and I think pushing all standard flags to 20 and adjusting the special flags accurately to match their original text would be very simple. And they wouldn't have to reprint all of them. They could just issue an errata and just say all standard flags will start with 20 life, and Thunder Empire will start with 21, and so on. It wouldn't be that hard, and I think it would be actually better for the game. So in the comment section below, I want your opinion on this. Do you agree? Do you think the life count should actually go up? If so, why? If you think it should stay where it is, please explain why as well. Because a point that Sam made, buddy calling really doesn't do anything for you anymore. Because what's one life, you know? So he said maybe, I don't think he said this, but maybe they should even increase when you buddy call. Maybe you should gain 2 life. Maybe they should consider that just to, you know. So what do you think? Should Bushy Road look at the current life and raise it, leave it where it is? What do you think? I want to hear what your thoughts are on this topic. Make sure you leave all of your thoughts down and I will respond to every single comment. I hope you enjoyed the deck. Why do I keep saying this is deck profile? I hope you enjoyed this discussion video. I'm going to start trying to do more of these discussion videos. I'm going to try and start filming at least once a week for you guys. That's my goal. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, share all your thoughts below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video for me, and I'll see you next time.